My name is Alex Smith. I'm with Vendor2Member. I appreciate everybody coming out today. I'm real excited to tell you about a new program that we've developed. And it's really a turnkey solution that can really help you increase your sales through the co-op channel this upcoming year in 2014 and beyond. There are two basic vendor requirements to participate in the Vendor2Member program. And we'll go ahead and go over those to get started. Number one, you do need to have a current vendor number for either, currently it's for either Ace Hardware or Do It Best Corp. So you do have to have a current vendor number with one of those two retail groups. Second, you have to have products that are available to drop ship. So if you do have vendor numbers with those retailers, you have to have product that you're ready and able to ship direct to the retailers. So either maybe you're a drop ship only vendor, then you're a perfect situation. If you're a stocking vendor, let's say you have 100 products, you have 10 of them in stock, then you would be able to ship the remaining 90. So those are the two qualifications. If you do not have a vendor number with one of the two co-ops that we're currently working with, then that's fine. You might stay and listen to the presentation if you're working towards getting those vendor numbers with Ace or Do It Best. I encourage you to stay. This could really be a turnkey solution for you to help really penetrate the co-op market next year as you get that vendor number. And touch base with me after the webinar, and I can help you through that process as well. But I just wanted to quickly touch on that. And moving forward, I'm going to give you a little background about myself, who I am, a little bit about my experience, and then also kind of define the need for the Vendor2Member program and how that came to be. I started off in hardware, actually as a general store manager at an Ace store. And there are a few things that I really noticed when I started the position. I was really brought on to increase sales, to give some fresh perspective and some fresh ideas. And one thing that we all know in sales is that it's much easier to capitalize on existing customers than it is to go out and get new customers. And that was increasingly so with the demographic and the location of the store that I was at. Because of the big box competition that surrounded it. So I really tried to zone in on my current customers that are walking in the front door, and also my industrial commercial house accounts that we had set up. And one thing that I noticed with customers coming in the front door is that I had a lot of requests for non-stocked product. We had a large store. I was over a 26,000 square foot store. We did over $4 million a year in business. It was a very well-ran store. We had a lot of product on the floor, but regardless of how many SKUs we had on the floor, consumers were constantly asking for either brands, types of products, certain categories that we really didn't have a lot of, and were wanting to buy that through me because of the relationship with the store. Unfortunately, a lot of times I did not have that. When I'd go to my warehouse catalog online, AceNet in this situation, there's 80,000 items, but again, that wasn't near the extent of the product that was available to me through vendors that worked with Ace Corp or for Do It Best. The second thing that I noticed was that when I went to my industrial commercial, I really wanted to capitalize again on those relationships. So I went to a lot of these accounts and I said, give me your last year of POs, your purchase orders. I want an itemized list if you would. And I'd love the opportunity to quote those out for you because I know that we deal with thousands of vendors through Ace, and I'm sure that I can source a lot of this product for you, and I'm going to be able to get that business. So they did that. I had several come in, and it took me days, weeks, sometimes several weeks, tracking down product, tracking down costs, tracking down who the sales rep was, what the vendor numbers were, what the shipping terms were. I mean, you can imagine it was quite the nightmare trying to do a simple quote on a product that I should be able to drop ship for my vendors through my relationship with Ace. And that really kind of was the beginning development of, there was a definite need for a better line of communication and a better organized resource that linked the retailers together with the vendors that already had relationships pre-established with Ace or with Do It Best, and a way for those retailers to get that information so they can make purchasing decisions. And I led our hardware retailing group in the area, and it wasn't just me. We had discussions back and forth, and we were constantly trading ideas and trading sources and trading catalogs. And we had catalogs along the wall, as you know, and The majority of those were not only out of date, but they could have been a decade old. And even the newer catalogs that we received, it was clearly evident as I went through that pricing changes too frequently, model numbers and legislation changes, part numbers, to keep up to date on a paper catalog. It was generally irrelevant, and it obviously was unsearchable. So from that point, I actually went at that time to Do It Best Corp, and I was a buyer for Do It Best Corp. And sitting at my desk, that need was reiterated as I'd received dozens of calls a day from retailers asking for the same resource, the same issues that I was having on the sales floor. So I could relate to them very closely. And what they were asking for is, hey, do we have a vendor with a line on this product? Or do we have a vendor who sells this? And so constantly retailers are trying to track down this information. And there's really absolutely no reason that there shouldn't be a resource that pulls together all this data that was once in 5, 6, 10 different places into one common resource for all of the drop ship product that's available to those retailers with co-op specific information. So that's a little bit of background about myself, my history, as well as the product of Vendor2Member and what the foundation for that is. And this isn't a product that we came up with the idea. This is a product that the industry demanded a solution for. And so we have developed Vendor2Member to meet the needs of the retailer and to meet the needs of the vendor. Obviously, in my position to Do It Best, I worked with vendors on a daily basis, solving problems with how to communicate, how to get information and resources into the hands of the retailer when they need it. And so that's what Vendor2Member accomplishes. What Vendor2Member does is we list all of your non-stock product in a searchable database, and that is Vendor2Member. So if you had 1,000 items that you manufacture, or let's say you're a distributor and you have 1,000 items, and you have 100 of those items stocked at Do It Best and Do It Best warehouse, we would list the remaining 900 products to Do It Best retailers. So now they have ability to search and find the full extent of your product line. Next thing we do is on every single product level page, you receive, the retailer sees co-op specific information. So all of your shipping terms, your vendor number, your co-op specific sales contact will be listed there for that retailer to see. So if you have a different account manager in charge of ACE than Do It Best, an ACE retailer sees that ACE contact, a Do It Best retailer sees the Do It Best contact. So they're getting extremely relevant information and one page, everything they need to make a purchasing decision. Next thing Vendor2Member does is it gives you the vendor homepage. What the vendor homepage is this is really exciting. From a vendor perspective, this is an extremely powerful tool to get into your hands. And what this is that it's your own web page. Within the Vendor2Member site, you do receive a unique URL, so you can distribute that, and it doesn't change, so that is your website page within Vendor2Member.com. On that page, you can list co-op specific dropship specials, pallet buys, how-to videos, training videos on your product. It also lists your entire line of product so that when a retailer goes to that vendor homepage, they have the ability to see the full scope of your product. And then you also have the ability to put a bio about the company, your company logo, and all your shipping terms are listed on that one page as well. So that becomes a really exciting proactive tool to educate retailers about your program, but also put it into your hands to proactively distribute and to direct retailers there. It is a fantastic tool to utilize at the shows and the markets when you're working with retailers to have them come to a common place and keep up to date on your offers and specials with them. So shortly here, you should be seeing the homepage on Vendor2Member.com. You should be all familiar with this. I will make a quick note that on the homepage, as you scroll up and down, you can see some information, obviously some videos about the program, some details there, some retailer testimonials. But you also see we have a few of our featured vendors listed here that are scrolling. If you click on that, that will actually take you to a page that we've put out there. It's our featured vendors. So this is not comprehensive, but it is all of the list of our featured vendors that we currently have working with on the site. So it's just kind of nice to take a look at, and you can see the names there. We have a large group participating, and the larger group obviously coming on as we move forward. But I just wanted to point that out. Let's go ahead and start by taking a look at a product level page. So a retailer is going to do a search, and in this example, we're using John Lewis, their current vendor on Vendor2Member.com. Happen to be working with them on developing and getting their products listed this week, so we used them as an example today. And they are both an ACE and Do It Best listing vendor, but we're signed in today as an ACE retailer, and that's what we're going to see is ACE information. So on the right-hand side here, this is going to be set up and visible just like any retail site on the web. And the reason that we set it up that way is because we want it to be extremely intuitive. When that retailer utilizes the Vendor2Member platform and the search feature, they're going to be able to easily find information and know exactly how to navigate these pages to make it a very quick process to identify and to find information on the page. So you have the product name, the details, manufacturer part number, UPC, and a minimum order quantity for this product up front listed right there for that retailer. You also have an image. That image is enlargeable. Then you have product tabs. The product tabs are extremely nice. So we're not getting too much information at one time. They're organized into tabs. So a description tab is going to be the full description of the product. The details tab is going to provide even extended information, the material, the packaging type. Is it boxed? Is it retail ready? Is it in a clam pack? Is it bulk? Country of origin. Pricing information. Now I'll take this time to talk a little bit about pricing. Pricing, you have the ability to list the pricing to the retailer, the cost, I should say, to the retailer. When a retailer signs up on Vendor2Member.com, they identify whether they're an ACE retailer or a Do It Best retailer. And at that time, then all the information is qualified for them. So an ACE retailer doing a search only will see ACE costs, ACE pricing, ACE vendors, and the ACE shipping programs. Same thing for a Do It Best. If a Do It Best retailer does a search, they're only going to see Do It Best pricing or the Do It Best sales contact, shipping terms, etc. So you have several options. You can list pricing here. Majority of vendors are listing costs, but you do have the ability, as you can see here, it says call sales rep for pricing. So this vendor has said, you know, because of this product line, the flexibility and the pricing, he'd rather have the retailer make a simple phone call and get that cost. So you can list that here, and then the sales contact you see here in the left-hand column, that is an ACE-specific sales contact, and you can place that call and get that cost information. The variants tab is a really nice feature for the retailer and also for yourself, because what this enables you to do, if they search and find your product, but let's say they're wanting a different size, a different color, you can link your products together on this variants tab. So this retailer, for example, who's done this search says, oh, here's a 12-inch rack, but I really needed that 16-inch rack. They're able to go to the variants tab and see quickly there is a 16-inch in the nickel finish available. Click there, and it takes them right to that product. So they don't have to go back and do another search. And then finally, the resources tab, which is a big tab and a really nice feature. You have the ability to link any training videos, any how-to videos, any spec sheets, PDFs, pricing sheets that you have, any external information, support data that you want to make available to that retailer, you can list in this resources tab. You can list the same links on every single product that you list. You can have unique links on every single product level page. And I'll show you how that's all managed and organized on the back end here coming up. But I wanted you to see that resources tab. And it's a really strong resource for that retailer to be able to go ahead and get more information. If you have a really well done manufacturer's website, then you would put the vendor website listed there and maybe the product level page link within that site, so you can go and get extended information as well beyond what's available on the site. And then finally, on the product level page in the left-hand column, you have the vendor information. So on the right-hand column is going to be all the product-specific information. Left-hand column is the vendor-specific information. This vendor column is the same for every single product that you list on Vendor2Member.com. You have the vendor logo, the general vendor contact information, the sales contact. Now, again, as I mentioned, you can list different sales contacts for different organizations. So if you have a different account manager working with ACE than Do It Best, then you can list that, and the respective co-op retailer will only see their appropriate contact. Same thing with sales reps. So if you employ a rep agency, you can do the same. And then finally, to end is the ACE vendor number. minimum order quantity, the prepaid shipping terms, and the FOB you can list there as well. So as you can see, all the information that was once now 6 or 7 places for the retailer is now in one centralized searchable database for them to find anything, any product that they need for the thousands of vendors that work with their co-op. So it's a really powerful resource to that retailer. Now let's take a look at that vendor homepage. So let's say I'm a retailer, I've done this search, I want to learn more about John Lewis and their company. Right here is a link, so the John Lewis product homepage. If I click that, it's going to take me to John Lewis's vendor homepage. It's a unique URL, as you can see at the top here. And what this has is a little bio about his organization, about the company logo, all the sales contact information that was on every single product level page, but it's also reiterated here on the vendor homepage. A complete listing of all of this vendor's product is listed right here. You can see the product categories that this vendor also has products listed in. And a lot of vendors have multiple products listed in multiple categories. But this organizes it in a way that makes it very simple, very easy to search and see the product and then what the vendor has available. As well here where it says the possibilities are endless. In this space, John Lewis has not yet listed the product, any extended links as we approach retailer launch date in February. He will be doing that. But this is a space where you'll be able to upload any PDFs, any planograms, how-to videos, company overview videos, product level videos. You'll be able to list spec sheets and Excel spreadsheets and anything that you want to make available, starter assortments, that you want to make available to that retailer, you have the ability to post and list here. So it really becomes a fantastic channel for you to communicate and make available daily what you have going, different opportunities that you have for that retailer, instead of having to wait for market to communicate that next to them, or make endless phone calls to retailers. This becomes a really strong proactive tool for you to use in the field and on the phone as well. As you can see with the vendor homepage, one thing I will note, we have vendors listing with us that have one product available for dropship. We have vendors that have upwards of 30,000 items. And this vendor homepage and the searchability of our site really is an extremely strong asset to both of those vendors. Obviously, when you have 30,000 items, make that product searchable, and the searchability of our site, and for a retailer to be able to come and understand the full scope of your product line is imperative. And that is how really the Vendor2Member program is crucial and essential for them to help grow those sales. The same with the vendor with one product. It's so easy to get lost in the mix in warehouse, or if you're not in warehouse, the only way to communicate that product is to spend tens of thousands of dollars at the show. And that still may be the avenue to go at the show, but what the Vendor2Member program now can do is give them a unique link, a unique way to find that product and distribute information to that retailer on a daily basis and separate themselves from the crowd with those relationships with the retailers. That's a little bit about, obviously, how the site functions. I just wanted to give you an overview of that, demo it a little bit so you could see the resource that we've created and how it's going to be put together and what an asset that's going to be to that retailer. And obviously coming from being a retailer, still being connected deeply with my roots in retailing and connections with a lot of retailers. The excitement is building. Obviously word of mouth has gone on about the program. We used a panel of retailers to help us develop this. There's a lot of excitement building about the utilization of this program and the excitement on their end for increased sales. Just the problems that I was describing earlier, being able to have a resource to close those sales and to get that information and make those deals is really exciting for them. I did want to touch on the retailer launch. As I mentioned, February 17th of 2014, Vendor2Member goes live to retailers. So I wanted to talk and speak a little bit about that. On February 17th, the Vendor2Member product goes live for retailers to search and use Vendor2Member.com. Both ACE and Do It Best retailers will have access at that time. A little bit about our strategy in communicating this. We obviously know it's imperative that we build this resource and we make it extremely comprehensive. And we have done that, and that's why we're building up to a launch date. Instead of letting vendors utilize the program as it grows, we want to be able to give them a comprehensive dictionary. And as I've said to many people, it's kind of like a dictionary. What good is it with 10% of the words? It's not real beneficial. But a comprehensive dictionary, when it's complete, is a humongous asset to somebody. So we have done that with Vendor2Member, and we're proceeding to do that. And that's why February 17th is our launch date. It's a week before the 8th show. And that's strategically done so because we're going to have an extremely big presence, and it's going to be a really exciting retailer launch come February 17th. We are working closely with the co-ops to communicate directly to the retailers. So on launch date and the weeks preceding, we're working with ACE and Do It Best to communicate directly to their retailers about the program, how to utilize it, training that's available, and how that product works. It is a completely free resource to the retailer. We'll be directly working with over 8,000 retailers with email marketing to them, communication pieces, training pieces, Facebook ads to the retailers, LinkedIn ads to the retailers. As you can imagine, there will not be a retailer in this nation who does not know and understand the Vendor2Member program. We have a large presence at all the markets. So that's another key feature. We have all these retailers coming in, and we'll be providing all of our vendors with POP and information and to distribute and to communicate to their customers as they walk around the booth, as well as having a strong presence there ourselves for markets. And then we'll also be investing extensively in the retailer training. So if I'm a retailer, how do I utilize Vendor2Member to increase my sales? We'll have training about that. Obviously, I'll be putting together a team of folks to make these videos and to help educate the retailers in the field. A lot of the rep agencies we are working with, we've enlisted to help us communicate and educate retailers because they have vendors that are obviously listing on our program, and so they'll be educating retailers in the field with their relationships. So it's going to be a really exciting time come February 17th, and it's just going to get really big really fast. And next, I wanted to take some time, and all of this is fantastic, and you can list 30,000 items, and you hear me saying that to you, but let's talk a little bit about how in the world that's going to be done. Obviously, coming as a buyer, Do It Best, I understand firsthand data management and how it sounds simple, but it never ends up being simple. And what I do say about our back-end development, our team who's worked on that, they have streamlined the process and made a process that was once extremely difficult. They've really made the process as simple as possible. And I'm excited, and I'm really impressed with what they've been able to accomplish. So I want to share that with you and show you how that works. You do have a bulk upload tool on your My Account page. So once you register on Vendor2Member, there's a bulk upload tool. And it's a two-step process. So you fill out that data worksheet. It's a new product upload worksheet with all the data. It's from your product. It's a copy and paste. And then you can upload that right to our website, right to our servers. We validate it, and we put your products live on the site. Same thing with images. We have a very open image file that we accept. There are some details, and within your My Account, it explains what those are. But we accept a wide range of formats and sizes, specifically to make it as easy as possible. You zip those all into one file, and you upload those to our server as well, and those are pulled directly into your product level pages. So here's our product upload worksheet. As you can see, there are simple columns, UPC, manufacturer part number, product name. This is also where you manage your pricing and your costs. So if you wanted to list call sales rep for pricing, or if you actually wanted to list an ACE retailer cost, and this is also where you would list your Do It Best retailer cost. You can identify, a lot of times that program you have is the same. A lot of times your back-end rebates and programs are different with each co-op, and the pricing may be different. Your taxonomy, where would you like your products listed on Vendor2Member.com? You can select out of our categories, our departments, category, and subcategory. You're able to do that there with drop-down boxes. And the resources link that I was explaining on each product level page. Very simple process here for managing and uploading those links onto the resource tab on the product level pages. As you can see, the yellow squares at the top, we have video tutorials made for every single section. So we make a lot of information resources available to you to walk you through the process. That kind of brings me on to my next point I really wanted to touch base on, is the support that we have at Vendor2Member.com. And we have biweekly. Once you're a vendor, from that point, the ball doesn't drop there. We help you. We work with you. We work with either yourself or your data team to get your products organized, utilize the bulk upload tools, and get product listed on Vendor2Member.com. We have full-time staff dedicated to supporting managing product data and getting things listed. And then we also have within the site, obviously, that I showed you on that product upload worksheet, step-by-step video tutorials that are available as well. There's a one-time listing fee. It's $150. That's not recurring annually. That's a one-time fee, regardless if you list a one or both retailing groups. Vendor2Member, there's one fee for unlimited listings, regardless if you have one product or if you have 10,000 items. There's one fee. To list a one co-op retailing group, $600 a year. To list a two, that second group is marked a 50% discount, and it's $900. So for $900, you're listing and making all your products searchable for over 8,000 retailers. So the value there you can see at that cost. You wouldn't even come close to putting postage on a one-page mailer for one time to 8,000 retailers, let alone making all of your products searchable, updatable on a daily basis to over 8,000 retailers through Vendor2Member.com. And then you also have the ability, most vendors have taken the advantage of just a one-time payment. It's easier to manage that deduction. And again, it's a one-time fee to mess with. But we do have the monthly available. It's just a flexible option that allows you to get involved, manage it on a monthly basis. $50 a month beginning in February 2014 for one retail group and $75 for both. From the vendor homepage, you click the vendor tab at the top. Simply click the sign up button at the top, and you can see very quickly here the company name, company email. You set your own password. You can change that at any time. The contact, who you'd like to be the company contact, you can list that information there if it's not yourself, or put yourself if you'd like it. You list who you'd like to list to. If you have a vendor number with ACE, you click ACE, or Do It Best, or both. Your ACE vendor number, your Do It vendor number, and create an account. Once you establish your account, you don't have to have all your product information, everything available and ready at that time. You simply can register. That secures all the offers, secures that free ad space for you, and then you have between now and then the first of the year, early in the first of the year here, to get your product information organized, take advantage of our support team to assist you in that process and get your products listed.